Hello and welcome to Stackflow Tech. My name is Emmanuel Meli, and in this video we will discuss on how we can keep our book ledger. That is any operation that happen in every book. I have therefore created a table, a simple table to just store this transaction for the book. That is, for instance, if someone is booking a book, then we will record the transaction that the book was borrowed or was booked by someone who is a patron on a given date. We'll just record date on this field. And of course, the transaction type will be the booked. Then, of course, we'll have a description of the same. Now, we will therefore create a code unit that will always create this form of information in this table so that nobody will be required to key in the data. This process will happen automatically on operations such as we have actions here such as the submit. When they submit, there is a book operation whereby somebody is booking a book, and therefore I want us to be able to record that operation at that given time. In our previous videos, I've also explained how we managed to use this one procedure that is in this library management code unit. This procedure is known as the book operations. Now, this is the same procedure that has been used in submit, reopen, approve, issue, and receive book action. This action utilizes one operation, but what keeps changing is just the status. This was not enough. Therefore, we will need another, inside this operation, we will need another line, maybe after everything is done, after book has been marked as given status, then we will therefore right here after we have done all our operation in book lending line. Remember, the book lending line is a line that is that stores all the lending information of any book that has been lent. Now, down here, I want us to create a code that will update the book transaction. Before that, I want us to create a global variable in this code, in this library management code unit, known as the library transaction or library ledger. Since it's a ledger, so let's call it library ledger. We'll be referring to our record known as the library ledger entry. Now, in this entry, you understand that we have these fields that I've stated earlier that they will be very important in terms of knowing who, in terms of the patron, who took the book, given by which user, what was the date that that book was received, booked, or issued, what was the type of transaction being booked, issued, or whichever the process that was. Now, I want us to maintain this source code here, but still, to make our code neater, we'll just create a procedure here. That is a snippet for creating procedure. Now, let's call it update. Okay, let's call it post library entry. So this one will post any entry that we give. I want it to take the book number as our parameter, which is a code of length maybe 20, and another thing that I want it to take is the status of that book. I'll just copy this because we will maintain this status. So in this case, we want the post library entry procedure to be able to post the information about the process of library at that time. So we will use our variable that we have created up there, and we'll have to initialize that record so that we will be able to insert the data to the library ledger. So one will be inserting the book number, and the book number we'll just get it from our parameters up here as a book number inside the post library entry. We'll also need to get the status, which is transaction type. Sorry, transaction type. So our transaction type will be the status at that given moment. Just save it, the status. So it will take, since it's just a parameter inside the post library entry. So another thing which is very important is the patron ID. So for this patron ID, remember in our in every book lending line, there's always a patron in that table. So in every book lending record, there's a patron number inside it. So at this point, we will also we'll also add the patron number right here, so that it will give us the patron. Sorry, we have to terminate, then patron number. This is a code like maybe 20. So we'll just take that patron number and insert into our library ledger table. Also, we need the issuer, the person operating at that time is the user ID. Okay, it's supposed to be user ID right there. So it is ledger.user ID. Then we will just take the user ID. There's a procedure already created for you by Microsoft. And also we'll need the transaction date. So we'll just take the work date as at that time when that operation is done. Okay, this is date time. So we'll not take the work date because the variable type or the field type is date time. So we'll just take the current date time. Now, see, this is not enough. We also need to add another one for description. So our description will be text of maybe process. So we'll use let me just create a text of modulus 1 that will be operation of book number. Just put book number right there, number 2, and then operation of, so maybe book operation of book number that at date. I'll just give a date on this one, and by someone, by modulus 4, and then we have the book operation type, book number, yeah, and then for which patron. So this modulus means it is a representation of how you will put the data right here, which is a dynamic data, so it has to change all the time, but still it will maintain the text of book number, but it will change this value. So I want to show us how we can achieve that by creating this text here as a label. I'll create a label here for maybe transaction description, transdisk label of this label. Then I'll just make use of a string subs number where we will substitute, will replace our moduluses alongside the variables that we want to. So I'll just take the variable right here, transdisk. Okay, we have our procedure here. This is an inbuilt procedure that will substitute these the things I've just then the integers I've put with an ampersand with the variable that we will. So you just put it there and then give the text, posit text, the string, and those values as jokers. So now we need to joke it around with those jokers. So the first thing on number one will be the status of that, either booked, issued, out of order, received. The next one will be book number. The next one will be at current date time. And then the next one will be by user ID. So I'm just doing what I did up there, but to make it sound like a description. By that, for patron number. So now, once we provide these values to the book number, the values to the library ledger, we need to insert. So there's an insert function right here. There's something that I've not mentioned. When you hover around this variable, there's a transaction ID. This transaction ID, when you go to this table, you'll realize that it is an auto increment number. So it will just auto increment integer from maybe 0 or 1 to some other value, infinity. Now, this post library entry procedure has 0 references. We're going to make it to put it somewhere so that it get used. 0 references means we have not consumed it, we have not used it. So I want us to use it right somewhere. Every other time we interact with a book, you see this if. This if will always run this code if there exists a book, this book number. Now I'm going to put it right here after modify post library entry. There's an error under this procedure because we need to pass the book number. These are the parameters. Book number. We need also to pass if you look at it clearly, we need to pass the status. Remember, this status is this one. It's not this one. But still, when it comes to this procedure, it will be equal to what is inside this variable. It's an option, so it has various options. Now, there's still an error because we have not provided enough parameters as it is here. We have the 3 parameters. We have book number, status, and patron. So we'll just put our patron number. Remember, the patron, will get it from this variable, book lending. Remember that variable comes from the action. So book lending dot patron. There is a patron number right here. So that function is done, and we are expecting this function or this procedure to update the library ledger entry. So now I want us to go to the book and create a field, not a real field, but just a virtual field. Okay, it's a field, yes. It's created like a field, but it's not like the real field. it doesn't store real data. It's a calc field. So it's number 9. Let's call it entries. And then make it an integer and delete this so that we don't get in trouble. Let's make this field class property as flow fill. And then a flow fill always has a calc formula. I don't know why it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Calc formula, which is equals to, I want it to be counting all the entries of that book. Count library. I want it to count library ledger entries where the book number is equals to the field which is inside this record known as the book ID. So anytime it gets a related record inside this table, library ledger table, it counts and gives us the count. So to avoid people editing this field and putting their imaginary values, let's just make it editable false. But we need to go back to the book table right here. And then let's just create another field for entries. This is a card. This is a card of type, let's see. It's a page of type card. So now let's do some application area so that we will be able to see this field. And then inside this record, we need to have a drill down page so that when I drill down that number, it takes me to that page. Which page now? Library ledger entries. So, and even the lookup ID, I'll have to use library ledger entries. So that when I look up the record at that time, I'll be able to go and see that. I think there's no error. It's just a false alarm. But we'll find out if there's any. All right, it is here. We've not terminated that line. The error is gone. Now, I'll just test. What we'll do, we will try to perform an operation that uses the code unit, not the code unit, but the book operation procedure that will also run our post library entry. Now, we'll go to book lendings, go to open. Yeah, there's one here. Then we'll create test post entries. We're going to post entries to ledger. Yeah, library ledger. Then we'll take a patron. Let's take myself, Patron Emmanuel Meli. Then I don't have emails in those other details. So I'll go to book number. I want to select the book that comes the first one that is available. If at all there's a book that is available. Yeah, there's book 1. It's available. And this is the same book that we expect us to give us the entries of whichever process that we'll do. Let's submit. Operation successful. So let's go back to the books. Book 1. There's book 1. It is right here. So you can see it's still 0. If we drill down, there's no record of us having any of those processes. Yeah, I think the reason is we never inserted. There was a typo here. It's supposed to be insert, not init. Init comes first right there at the top. So I expect things to work fine from this point. That was uncalled for. It was a human error. So we'll attempt to do another operation. There's nothing in in open book lendings. So we'll go to pending. There's this one that we were doing. I'm going to approve this, then see if anything will happen. Okay, the operation was successful. So let's go to book 1. Let's see if there's any form of entry. Book 1, there's one entry. If you click at it, it drills down. Yeah, it's the transaction number 1, booked of book 1 at that. This is the description that we just did. So you can see it's taking the patron number, the employee number, which is the person that was booking. This is booked. And now I'm going to issue, then we'll come back and see the entries of that book. Let's go to approved. Then we go to book lending 1, then issue. That was successful again. Let's go to book 1 and see what really happened. We have 2 entries. It's really counting the entries that and you can also see that this book has been booked. So let's go see. Now this is issued. It was issued at 3:10 and then 2:17 p.m. It's almost the same. It's actually the same time, but the date format is different. No, it's just the same. So now that wraps it up how we can have a transaction table and transaction data for our books in the library. You can do and test and see how it affects how you are able to track all the processes that every book that has been involved in any process will show you. You can always count and give you right here at the entries. Thank you so much for following up to this point. I appreciate that you will appreciate this content by liking, subscribing, and even sharing this content. Thank you.